You're a busy person, and you have a lot to get done in your limited time. You could accomplish pretty much everything you need to do with a text editor and a paper calendar, but that wouldn't be very efficient. To make things easier, there are hundreds of productivity apps out there to help with everything from tracking tasks to storing files. With hundreds of apps, however, it's difficult to know which to choose. That's why I created this guide, which outlines the best productivity apps for just about anything you need to do at work or school. 1. To-do list app. Keeping a list of the things you need to do is one of the biggest improvements you can make to your productivity. Whether it's a mundane task like taking out the trash each week or a reminder to update your resume for a job application, keeping track of your tasks will make sure your life doesn't fall apart. Best to-do list app is Todoist. I've tested a lot of to-do list apps and Todoist is still my favorite. You can easily create nested lists of projects to organize all aspects of your life. Plus, Todoist makes adding tasks quick and simple, it only takes a few clicks. The app also has excellent natural language processing, which lets you quickly assign due dates to tasks. For instance, you can type, "Take out the trash every Friday," and Todoist will automatically create a task called, "Take out the trash," that repeats each Friday. 2. Calendar app. Along with having a task list, keeping a calendar is critical for becoming a productive person. While your task list is for keeping track of what you have to do, your calendar is for keeping track of where you have to be. Here are my favorite calendar apps at the moment. Best calendar app is Google Calendar. There are many calendar apps on the market, but Google Calendar is still the best. It's free, works across devices, and works well for both individuals and teams. It lets you manage multiple calendars using color coding, as well as set multiple reminders for events. 3. Project Management app. If you mainly work solo, then a calendar and to-do list app are probably all you need to keep track of your work. But if you're working on larger projects as part of a team, then a project management app can be a lifesaver. With the right app, you can make sure that everyone does their part of the project on time, as well as minimize the number of emails you have to send to receive. Best project management app is Notion. I struggled a lot with placing Notion into one category, as it can do so much. You can use it to take notes, track habits, and even manage tasks if you want. For me, however, Notion works best as a project management tool. You can use it to manage everything from our SOPs to ideas for videos and articles. It can be used to manage your entire video creation workflow, allowing to easily coordinate with the video editor. Finally, if you're a student or educator, you can get a personal pro account for free, normally $4 per month. All you have to do is sign up for Notion with your .edu email. Note-taking app. If you are a student, then taking notes is likely a daily part of your life, or at least, it should be. And even if you aren't in school, you probably have to take notes on presentations or things you read. While all you need to take notes is a notebook or a basic text editor, the right app can make it much easier to organize and review your notes. Evernote has been around for a while, and it's still my favorite app for taking notes. You can keep your notes organized using digital notebooks, and you can group these notebooks into stacks for further organization. Evernote also works brilliantly across devices and automatically backs up your notes to the cloud. In addition to text notes, it lets you create notes with images, PDFs, and even audio recordings. Habit tracker. If you want to be a productive person, you can't just rely on your willpower and motivation. To build productivity, and a great life in general, you need to cultivate the right habits. But it can be challenging to do something every day when you first start. This is where habit trackers comes in, helping you see your progress and stick with new habits. Best habit tracker is Habitica. Habitica is not your typical habit tracking app. Instead of giving you a checklist like most other apps, it turns habit building into an RPG. As you complete your habits, you can level up your character and get new gear. And for additional motivation, you can join a party with other Habitica users and fight bosses together. If you fail to do one of your habits, your entire party will suffer, which helps you stay on track even on days when you don't feel like doing a habit. Active time tracker. How many hours of work do you get done per day? It sounds obvious, but you'd be amazed how you spend your work hours if you pay attention. One of the best ways to understand how you actually spend your time is to use a time tracker. Time trackers come in two types, active and passive. Active time trackers let you type in a description of what you're doing and then time your work until you turn off the tracker. You can then review how many hours you worked and what you accomplished. Active time trackers are especially helpful for freelancers and anyone who bills by the hour, though they can also be useful for anyone who wants to maximize the time they spend on their most important work. Best active time tracker is Toggl. I've tried a lot of different time trackers, and Toggl is my favorite. It has a simple desktop application that you can use to track your time offline, and it lets you organize your tracked time into different projects. The feature that sets Toggl apart from other time trackers, however, is its ability to detect when you've been idle. When Toggl senses that you haven't typed or moved the mouse for more than a few minutes, it will alert you and ask if you want to discard the idle time or continue tracking. This way, you never have to worry about accidentally tracking 8 hours for a project just because you forgot to turn off the timer. Passive time tracker. I think everyone can benefit from tracking their time, but not everyone needs an active time tracker. You may struggle to remember to use it, and many of the features may be unnecessary if you aren't a freelancer. In this case, I recommend using a passive time tracker. Passive time trackers run in the background on your devices, making note of which apps and websites you visit. After it's collected enough data, the tracker will show you a report on how you spend your time. You'll probably be surprised how much time you spend on certain apps and websites. Best passive time tracker is RescueTime. RescueTime has been our favorite passive time tracker for a few years. Once you set it up, you can quite literally forget about it, until it sends you an email or notification showing you how you spent your time over the last week. RescueTime works across phones, computers, and tablets, so you can always know how you spend your time, no matter what device you're using. And once you know how you're spending your time, you can use RescueTime's distraction blocking features to limit the time you spend using unproductive apps. Anti-distraction tool. After tracking your time, you may realize that you're not spending as much time as you'd like on the important things. To take back control of your time, I recommend using an anti-distraction tool. These block distracting apps or websites, forcing you to spend time on things that matter. Best anti-distraction tool is Freedom. Freedom is a cross-platform app that blocks whatever you find distracting. You simply give Freedom a list of websites and apps to block, and the app will prevent you from accessing them until you turn it off. You can schedule Freedom to block apps during certain times each day, which is perfect if you have set work or study hours. For serious focus, Freedom even has a locked mode that prevents you from disabling it until the timer is up. Mind mapping tool. When you're brainstorming a project, it's sometimes easier to organize your thoughts visually. This is where mind mapping comes in handy. With mind mapping, you draw a circle, or really any shape you want, with one broad idea or topic. Then, you draw lines to smaller circles with more specific ideas related to the original one. It may sound strange if you've never done it, but this is a quick way to come up with new ideas. It's especially useful if you're struggling to come up with an idea for an essay or presentation. Best mind mapping tool is Toggl. While you can create a mind map on paper, paper mind maps can get difficult to manage as they get larger. And if you want to collaborate on a mind map with someone else, paper is impractical. Toggl solves these problems. It lets you create flexible, collaborative mind maps and flowcharts that are as large and complex as you want. You can even add images to further illustrate particular ideas. Productivity is about more than just apps. I hope this guide has helped you find the productivity apps you need to be more productive at work or school. At the same time, I want to remind you that productivity ultimately isn't about finding the right app. To truly become a more productive person, you need to work the right way and develop the right habits.